Hello everybody, I am King of Death, and today I'm playing some more Danganronpa 2. Goodbye to Fran. Today I'm doing Trial 3. And I went and did what I said at the end of the last episode. So I went back and I got all of the monothermics. Because when I find them all, I have to fucking grab them all. Okay, so my skills have to be correct. Seems like I still need to get more skills. Okay, first preparation for that trial. Yeah, alright.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Malcolm, you have to do this every single chapter. I'm getting fed up of it.
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Oh really? That's great. I'm making sure my flipping mic is actually working properly. Okay, that's good.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person...
I should really just check my mic before I begin, but I'm just like, nah, whatever.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island.
I also noticed one thing before I went through more dialogue. Kyoko's portrait is as close to the ground as she was.
Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already!
Then why do you give us this explanation every single time?
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out.
Hello. I'm happy to inform you. Your portrait's as low to the ground as you are.
You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
Oh yeah, I can tell. How was your sleep? Were you dreaming about hopeful things?
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
Hooray, Nagito has someone who actually agrees with him.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
That's an insult even I wouldn't use.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that? Listen up! The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 in the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone. So I sprinted out of the hospital.
Speaking of, for a very tired person, you really do have enough energy to run across an entire island searching for someone.
Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko. So I fled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
The way you contact that, it makes everyone be delighted.
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door. And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hyoko's. And not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Really? Are you doing this to me, Nagito? Why? Why?
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Lie? Why would I lie?
This is not Danganronpa beef. This is not B3. We don't lie in this game.
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Does Hajime look like the type of person who just lies way out of anything? Doesn't even remember his talent. How would he be able to remember a good enough lie?
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Nagito, why are you doing this to me? Just because we just said Nagito is the kind of guy who'll just confuse us and make... Why? Damn it, I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Room key. Use graphic paper, right on the unit.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously, because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault.
Oh, I got it. I'm not there should be a contradiction somewhere. I need to find that and break through.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also...
I don't think I can... After all, Hajime...
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously, because...
Did Hajime kill both...
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie. No, that's wrong!
There you go. I don't watch the flipping movie. I watched it twice.
I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
I didn't even watch the movie until after the bodies were found. But I watched it again when I went back to go to the magazine.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
What? Nagito, why do you do this to me?
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Nagito, why did you bring this up? Why did you bring up the fact that I was suspicious if you knew I hadn't watched the movie?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
Hold on a sec! You're the one who brought this up in the first place!
Nagito, do you not bring up contradictions that you know because that you know are fake?
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation. It also provides a good warm-up.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Well, it is a game. It's a game of life and death.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
What about Hiyoko?
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide ain't possible, huh?
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
Meantime, she ran out like 5 minutes after I left, and that's not long enough to disrupt music venue and kill them and hide them. Thinking, how the flip did the killer even tie them to the pillar?
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
No, I'm thinking, who the flip is that fast at putting time someone to a pillar for the next one?
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right? If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
I was doing one of these again.
They were?
I've noticed stuff that's similar to the first game. We're doing a lot. Technically.
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two, Sonia and Kazuichi.
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
But he's still ill to even do anything.
Me too!
Hey, why are you talking like, huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
I really want to see what he's done too.
Please stop making that joke.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
That is true.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill?
The girl wasn't talking to the venue, so he could obviously think so, but is that really it? I'm thinking that right, but for someone who doesn't even remember their talent, I'm very good at solving mysteries. When smart video
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they look like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
That person's remark contradicts the truth. I should be able to prove that with my evidence.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer waited till we get and suddenly...
So they look like...
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
The killer was still inside the music by locking the door from the inside. No, that's wrong.
Let's go. That was just me guessing. And no, Bill, it's right away.
Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
From the outside? How?
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob? Like rubber, maybe?
It wasn't rubber or something. Good.
I see!
Good.
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah, I think so too. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness, and I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth.
Why did you put it in your mouth again?
Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
Why did you put it in your mouth again?
I didn't know glue was edible.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly. But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know? That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost. It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
I skipped my dialogue again by accident.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
My name is just a flip up.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Aww, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
I think explain that is the
She's revealed?
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
Oh, that's great.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
Same stuff. Same type. Okay, I think I get what next is. That scrap, that was stuff on the baton lighting in the music venue. Nice to be able to figure out what it is. Whatever it is, a hangman's gambit. Because, who cares? What was the ripped piece of paper that was? Oh, well, I think I know what it sounds. Whoa. Why do I not think maybe it could be wallpaper on the storage room?
That scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room? In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap. There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so,
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper, see? It fits perfectly.
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearance?
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
I kinda wasn't listening to whatever they were saying. The other paper stuck to the baton lighting. The part of that wallpaper I found in storage room. Is it connected to the freaking experience of the other one? If I trace it back from there, now this should become clear. Alright, let's give this a try. Logic die. Okay, I was wondering when the next idea was gonna be. Okay, I remember this. Control. Okay, I'm terrible at this. Go this side. Question 1. Why did Hyoko's body suddenly appear? Oh, it's What did the killer... Wait. use the hide body wallpaper. Will I finally get one of these correct? Probably not. How did the killer hide her body with the wallpaper? Covered the killer? Yeah. God, I'm almost right. Oh yeah. Losing the wallpaper at right.
It's all coming together! I got it! Kyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Kyoko's body was already there. However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on them.
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
Then, when was Hiyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie. Not just that, but Hiyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Because that's how the path was something. Who knows? There's a big killer.
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
The reason the killer imitates two victims in that movie, I was just going to explain that. Oh, because they like the movie. So that's the conflict. The weapon, the mix up the order.
I see!
Mix up the order.
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
What do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
I don't cry or beg.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
What a jerk!
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she actually doesn't live in the world of make-believe if she believes that.
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
It's all like just imagine Jeffy just getting out of the sky, Michael's just like, where are you going? And it's just like, and just constantly going to them in the face.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just going to talk about it. I think it's best to be clarified this status of Hiyoko was killed. Use your argument. Well done.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were on the floor. But she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart!
Like you said, Ricky was tough fighting when he was killed, but not really true.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were, was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that.
I agree with that one statement, and I'll probably not agree with the other statement.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood!
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye!
Oh, dear.
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
What does that even mean?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line. But are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know. You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status.
No, I'm just thinking this is going to speak like a flipping moron for this entire trial.
However, The time for conviction starts now! You better entertain me to the fullest!
From the thing at times, he doesn't even want to talk, he just likes annoying people. It's all showdown.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about... Did you see a nice nightmare?
I've exaggerated protest. I feel like I've already seen enough opening of
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belongs... Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Let's go. There was fucking blood on the floor. You're just too late to that.
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
If I was saying this is not proof, I would be good.
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far.
Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now.
Gundam, shut the flip up about your stupid nonsense.
Fine then, but regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Okay, Nagito, please, go ahead.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Thank you.
Why me?
Because you're an idiot.
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That's totally impossible! Then she never would have killed her to begin with!
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive!
What?
When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
She was hanging from the ceiling. I don't think anyone's gonna be alive after that.
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and messed with the crime scene.
There was nothing for her to step. Even if she was alive, there was nothing for her to step on.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
Wondering. I guess I am checking my pet. The pet is my part, and then this helps.
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right? Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
They probably told her just from that. They probably told her to convince her that it was a good idea to do that.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something. So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed.
Because they happened before during the morning. Hopefully, it doesn't have an alibi at that time.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone...
So everyone who stayed at... What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the...
Right before them, I was totally asleep.
I think everyone...
So everyone is... What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be. My own cottage. We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the...
Right before them, I was totally asleep.
I think everyone...
So everyone is... What about you guys? I was where I was supposed...
That's not...
Aside from those afflicted by... If nobody has an alibi, then...
No, that's wrong.
I have an alibi.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
You make everything sound wild.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime. Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was? Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
Kind of a different reason. If that's the case, are you sure? Are you still in the case? Are you still in the case? First draft set by one of us. The third down. Who and what kind of trap is it? That's why suspended there, but I'm counting this. It's only been 47 minutes, I can count it on.
Hiya!
Why, hello there, Monami. The host of Mothball sure look tasty today.
Stop it!
Stop it, don't characterize me as someone who lives off Mothball. And here's some sorry. What's that? Now then, Monami's appeal time starts now. Appeal time? Your kind-hearted big brother is going to give you the chance to reclaim your honor. Good luck, show those jerks who treat you like a red-headed stepchild who's boss. That's 99% your fault. While you were whining, your time's already running out, so please make your appeal simple. About 3,000 words or so. That's too long, it'll just be a boring appeal. Come on, if your appeal is successful, there might be merchandise opportunities heading your way. I need some. I can't. Jeez, and I thought a certain robot little sister was supposed to be the best.
What a disappointment!
I couldn't read that because basically just what she said at the beginning today. Why are you talking? Who are you talking about? I have no clue whatsoever. Okay, time to save my game. Class trial.
I'm Monami. Once again, I've been put in such an unreasonable situation.
Sad bursting into music.
Seriously, he's like the king of unreasonableness. Why did it turn out like this? We were supposed to have a fun, friendly school trip, but it turned out all bloody instead.
I know it's so much better.
No! This definitely cannot be allowed. That's why I want you to remember this.
Are you gonna tell us not to kill each other?
Everyone, do your very best. Don't lose to yourself. And don't forget to save frequently.
Yeah, so if you told me this in the first game, I would have listened. The reason the killer did an imitation murder is the reason other than falsifying the murder sequence. Does something like that even?
It suddenly got quiet in here. Did I confuse you? If so, I wish I could die from self-loathing.
Man, this again.
If that's the case, it would have been just dandy if they had gone ahead and killed me too. If that happened, the imitation would have been perfect. So why didn't they do that?
Well, it's against the rules to kill 3 people in the first place.
You only recently added that rule.
That rule is too harsh. I couldn't get killed because of that.
Seriously, just shut up already! Shut up forever!
But I'm thinking about it again, and he's totally right. It feels incomplete.
Because they didn't kill 3 people like the movie did? That's only because of Monokuma's rule.
That rule was only added in after the murder.
It's not just that. Come on, try to remember the content of the movie.
The rule reminded me?
About the lion that got killed second.
That's the one Hyoko's body was imitating, right?
Even though we're calling it an imitation, the lion was actually pinned by arrows, right? But Hyoko's body was suspended by common household duct tape. Maybe they just used a common substitute because it was too difficult to imitate the arrows. Well, that's probably it, but that attitude is what makes this feel incomplete. If falsifying the murder sequence was the killer's plan from the very beginning, they should have taken steps to properly imitate it.
But if we never realized it was a half-assed imitation, their entire plan would have been completely useless.
What are you trying to say? Are you saying the imitation wasn't planned?
I'm saying, Hyoko's murder wasn't.
What?
Yoko's murder was a band?
I understand that imitation wasn't enough, but aren't you making a bunch of assumptions?
It's not just the poor imitation. There are also other strange details.
True.
Strange details? Like what?
Like, for example, why did Hyoko go to the music venue?
How did Hyoko go to the music venue?
So, you're saying the truth behind Hyoko's murder is hidden?
I have no freaking clue what you're trying to say.
However, this is getting quite interesting. My 4 dark devas of destruction are getting riled up.
Why Hyoko went to the music venue? That's the key to all this. We need to find that out from that other cat. Even though I think I might know the answer.
Why did Hyoko go to the music venue? There's no way we'd know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it, Maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Or she was guided by the will of causality.
I need to find out why Hyoko went to music venue fast, and ignore what Gundam said.
Why did Hyoko go to the music venue?
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it. Maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
I agree with that.
I agree with you. I think I've agreed with Sonya a lot this case.
It's just as Sonya said. She went to the music venue of her own free will.
So, exactly as I assumed.
If no one called for her, then why did she go?
Hyoko locked herself in her room because she was being overly cautious of the despair disease, you know? I don't think a person like that would leave their room just because someone called for them.
There's no way she got abducted?
Hyoko locked the room she was staying in before she went out.
If she was forcibly taken from her room, there's no way she would have had time to lock it.
The killer could have locked her door, right? Just to hide the fact Hyoko got abducted.
Then they couldn't have hidden her room key that deep in her kimono. They would have put it somewhere more obvious. Otherwise, there's no point in messing with the crime scene if nobody finds the key. At the time, you were the one who actually took out the key, right? Then something like that...
I won't move!
Why do I
Are you saying my gut was wrong?
Yeah.
This is my first and last highlight of the day. Why won't you just let me shine already?
No! That's not the issue.
Shut up! Enough with your fancy talk. I'll shut you up right now.
Why do I have to go through this, and why is it always me who has to go through these stupid arguments? Little showdown.
Hyoko was locked inside her room, right? She definitely got abducted or something. The killer forced their way into Hyoko's room. Forcibly abducted her! The girl is so small and weak-looking, and that's why the killer targeted her.
But Hyoko's room was locked. The key was deep inside her kimono, remember? It's more likely that Hyoko locked the door herself.
The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later.
There's no reason for the killer to put the key in Hyoko's kimono. The killer probably didn't realize she even had the key.
Hold on. Try remembering her kimono was all messed up.
That's it.
Crap!
Hold on. Try remembering Hyoko's body. Her kimono... There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer!
Allow me to cut through those words!
Let's go. Let's go.
The reason Hyoko's kimono was messed up was because she wasn't able to properly wear it.
Wear her kimono?
Yeah, it's also the reason why she decided to go out on her own.
Hyoko seemed to be really struggling with wearing her kimono. I believe that was one of the reasons she locked herself in her room. That is why I informed her. I told her that there was a full-length mirror at the music venue, and I suggested that she use it.
Then, the reason her kimono was messed up wasn't because she fought the killer.
Yeah, she went to the venue on her own just to fix her messed up kimono.
I get it. I lost. Boil me, burn me, take off my clothes. Do whatever you want to me.
The internet might want to do one of those.
Hajime, now's your chance. Make her admit defeat. Or better yet, make her do a little something.
You're disgusting. The internet would be great friends with you. Help.
Then, the killer probably couldn't have assumed that Hyoko would go to the music venue.
Though that may not apply to Sonya, since she provided Hyoko with that information.
Though I knew she would go there, there is no way I could have predicted when she would arrive.
Don't go doubting Miss Sonia, you cretin. I'll put you and your hamster 6 feet under.
Kazuichi, it seems you have quite the fashion sense. Do you want me to incinerate your clothes? Perhaps I could do that while you're wearing them.
Gundam, please stop! For his sake.
Huh? What do you mean, for my sake?
Of course. I've already overlooked no less than 10 opportunities to kill you.
Even if the killer couldn't predict it, why did Hiyoko get killed in the music venue?
I will always like some of the random answers different to these trials.
The only thing I can think of is, it was an unfortunate coincidence.
Coincidence?
When she went to the venue by herself, she was probably just unlucky and walked in on the crime scene.
She was killed so there wouldn't be any loose ends?
It probably happened when the killer was preparing to kill Ibuki. The killer most likely had already placed the hemp bag over her head, and without hesitation,
killed Hiyoko.
Because the killer used that coincidence for their crime, it made this case even trickier.
That's the reason they imitated the movie to falsify the murder sequence.
Which means that low-down scoundrel didn't plan on committing imitation murders at first.
Then what was the killer actually planning to do? They've been cunning this far. There's no way they'd kill Ibuki without a plan. Do you have any ideas?
Damn, we don't know the most important part.
That time from the beginning, I'm pretty sure we're very, very close.
Hey, Nagito, any ideas?
Hey, how long are you gonna stay quiet?
You told him to shut up forever.
Oh, am I allowed to speak? I'm so happy I'm getting goosebumps. Everyone actually needs help from scum like me.
They're about to shut him up now, guys.
So what do you think?
I was thinking about it while I had my mouth shut. But now I'm finally able to come to a conclusion. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I thought there might be a possibility that she faked her death and tampered with the crime scene. But now I remember. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers. So if she faked her death and walked around the music venue tampering with the crime scene, there'd be bloody footprints left in various places throughout the venue.
Okay, I need to see it.
So that's why I think there's no way she faked her death. There's no way Ibuki committed suicide.
You know, we already finished talking about that a while ago.
Really? That's annoying. I guess I should just awkwardly laugh about it then.
Are you freaking kidding me? There's no limit to how useless you can be.
Now wait a minute. If Ibuki had blood on her feet, there'd be footprints all over the place if she kept walking.
That's strange. That's very strange.
This is strange? What's strange?
It's not something we should talk about yet. The footprints were still an important clue left that we completely overlooked. As Nagito said, if she had blood in her feet, she would have left footprints. Then why weren't there any footprints on the? Why weren't there any footprints on the? Why weren't there any footprints?
I can prove it with this! If Ibuki used the stepladder to hang herself, it's strange that there weren't any footprints on it.
Huh? There weren't?
Yeah, that stepladder was completely clean. No footprints or bloodstains at all.
Just that tiny little bit of blood in the side.
You noticed such a small detail! How amazing! This is truly the talent of a chosen ultimate!
are you talking about? Well, obviously, you will obviously leading us to this. That's why you brought a super topic after all the time. Negative comedy, you're definitely someone I shouldn't underestimate.
But didn't you say you saw that video of Ibuki climbing stepladder? Then I think there's no doubt that she really did climb it. Unless there was something funny about that video.
I see. So there was some kind of trick arranged in that video,
But that's something only Hajime would know, since he's the only one who saw that video.
It just like what it comes down to that. The mystery surrounding this incident is contained in that video. Whether or not we can reach that hidden truth is all up to me.
Hajime, I leave it in your hands.
Why is it always up to me? Why can no one else figure out these mysteries? Why is there no Kirigami like in the first game?
As long as I leave this to you, I won't tell you to do your best, but oh well. You should get started already.
Yeah, I'll definitely try.
If there was some hidden clue in that video, should have seen stuff exchange as I watched it. I'm the only one who can clear it up. I'm the only one who actually saw that video. So I'm the only one who can do this. Why is it always me? Behind the video that I saw, based on everything we know from the debate thus far, I should be able to figure out what's true.
Here!
That's right, I remember now. There was definitely something strange about that video.
Can you explain it to us?
What's strange is that stepladder I mentioned earlier. It's true that the steps of that stepladder weren't dirty, but on one side, there was a bloodstain, right on the left side of the stepladder. However, that contradicts the video I saw at the hospital. There weren't any bloodstains on the stepladder in the video. It was completely clean.
That is... If the video showed the moment of Ibuki's death, then Hiyoko should have already been dead by that point.
Even so, the fact is the stepladder had blood on it at the actual crime scene. But the stepladder in the video was completely bloodless.
And there's no way the video was recorded in advance. If that's the case, the only thing I can think of is...
It's possible those two stepladders were completely different.
Wait, are you saying there were two stepladders?
But where would you find another stepladder? There was only one stepladder in the music venue.
Big market.
Then one of the stepladders was somewhere other than the music venue.
Big market.
What do you mean?
Big market.
You're suggesting that the stepladder in the video isn't the only thing that's different. Am I right?
Definitely different. It's big market, isn't it?
That's amazing, Chiaki! All that gaming has given you incredible deduction skills. Is it okay to say that?
What are you two talking about?
The stepladder isn't the only thing that's different. What was up that the stepladder was at a different place, but if that's the case, the thing that's different between the video and the actual scene of crime is that thing, the place where the killer did something. Gambit? Yep, Gambit. I hate this so much. Why is this guy talking about Gambit so much? I hate hanging with Gambit so much now.
That's right. Besides the stepladder, the filming location must have been different too.
What do you mean?
I mean, the video I saw was not filmed at the music venue. It was filmed somewhere else.
But the hospital monitor is supposed to display footage captured by the music venue camera, you know?
Then, there's a possibility that the killer also tampered with the surveillance camera unit.
You want to tell us that they filmed the video at the music venue filming somewhere else. What did the killer do to that surveillance camera unit? They broke it. We're going back into our flipping blaze again, aren't we? Into our blaze idea too. This makes Diamond all the amazing thing that can do. Which part of the surveillance camera unit did the killer tamper with? Camera, the month. Camera. Damn it. Damn it! I flipping hate this game. Did the killer tamper with the camera at the music venue? Music venue? What did the killer do with the cameras from the music venues when they took it from the music venues they took it with them. I hate it 90% of the time. Okay, if you couldn't fit that tree on that.
It's all coming together!
Like, before that was Vegas versus it, like the longest wasn't in distance than that.
That's it. The killer just brought the camera from the music venue. With it, they made me think it was a live feed from the venue, when it was actually from somewhere else.
Then only the monitor was left in the music venue?
Yes. At least when I first discovered Ibuki's body. But when Hyoko's body appeared, the killer probably put the camera back too.
That means you should have realized that from the start and made this easier on all of us.
He did discover the body. I doubt his attention was focused on the camera.
Well, that's true, but... in order to hide that the camera was missing, the killer did one more thing to the remaining monitor.
The thing the killer did to the remaining monitor was this way.
I see! The killer smashed the monitor to pieces, destroying it. As long as it was in pieces, you wouldn't be able to tell if the camera was actually there or not. My attention was so focused on the body that even I couldn't have noticed something like that.
And the moment Hajime left the music venue, the killer put back the camera they took.
And they destroyed it and left that in pieces as well.
It's easy to say it was filmed somewhere else, but the surveillance camera's connection wasn't that strong.
Despite Kazuichi's desperate repair efforts, it seems it could not transmit from the hospital to the motel.
The fact that it was able to connect between the hospital and the music venue is amazing enough.
That means even if it was filmed in another place, but as long as it was transmitted to the hospital, the range was very limited. That's the case. Where was the video filmed to make it look like it was distant filmed at the mission? I think it's that place inside that building. I'm gonna down there again. Oh, I think I got what it's done. I get what it's done. Very shiny. Good. Okay. I would have blamed myself if I actually failed the one that had run down bit, because I was looking right at that.
Possible that it was filmed at the hospital's conference room.
And I'm probably making up excuses, but I don't care.
Huh? Conference room?
But the hospital and the music venue look completely different.
That's exactly why the killer did something to make those two places resemble each other.
To make the conference room look like a music venue, the killer went ahead and did some work. I've got to make clear what that work was. Was it a black man? Was that such a thing they got from the supermarket?
There's no way it's a conference room. And the music venue looked the same.
Which place resembled the other? Did the conference room look like the music venue? Or did the music venue look like the conference room?
That must be it!
You are correct, Kazuichi. This is the one time you're actually safe to use what I said.
What the killer did was make the music venue, the crime scene, look like the conference room. They did that by using the black curtain hanging at the back of the stage.
From what I remember, there used to be a really flashy curtain. But after the incident, it somehow became a plain black curtain that didn't seem to be the right size.
That's right! It's so half-assed, just like Monami.
Oh, yeah? Well, your face looks stupid.
Wait.
That curtain was hung so the music venue would look like the conference room?
In actuality, even though the curtain in the conference room doesn't stand out, it is a black light-blocking curtain that's long enough to reach the floor.
I see. The conference room. Indeed, the floor of that room is the same color as the music venue stage. So the killer chose the conference room because they realized the floor matched.
Matching floors, matching curtains. I guess it makes sense you'd mistake the two.
But that's not all. There should be something else the killer did to tamper with the evidence.
If they also could did to make the music venue look like a conference room, maybe that.
I can prove it with this! You're referring to the candle in the music venue, right? In the video I saw, a candle was used for lighting. But if you think about it, that's pretty strange. The music venue has good lighting, so there's no reason to even use candlelight.
But wouldn't they have done it to make it feel creepier?
That might have been another reason, but the main reason was probably to tamper with evidence. The lighting in the conference room and the music venue are so different. They couldn't be used during filming. That's why the killer used a candle as film lighting instead.
Which means... Are you saying the candle in the music venue wasn't actually used?
That candle was likely placed there just to make me think it was the same candle that was used in the video.
With candlelight, you can't see things in that much detail. Maybe they were going for that effect. With that cheap-ass camera, it won't capture much in a dark area.
As long as this all matches up, it should be no problem to say this is decided. The video I saw wasn't filmed at the music venue. It was actually filmed at the hospital conference room.
If I'd found proof that evidence in the conference room was altered, we would have reached an answer sooner. But it appears the killer already covered that up, so I didn't find anything when I went there.
But there's no mistake. That's the only place within the connection range of the surveillance camera.
The motel would have been too far, and the interior design of the movie theater is too distinctive.
But this must be a surprising turn of events for Hajime. You never suspected that the video you saw in the hospital was being filmed in the conference room.
The incident isn't happening at the scene of a crime. It's occurring in the conference room.
I should look outside base. I should have put base where top said that before, but isn't it the other way around?
If Ibuki's hanging video was filmed at the hospital's conference room, then was Ibuki killed at the conference room too?
She was killed beforehand.
No, that's not possible. Right after Hajime saw that video, he discovered Ibuki's body at the music venue.
The video was filmed at the conference room, but Ibuki's body was at the music venue, which means there was a fake somewhat. The fake must have been... Which means there was a fake somewhere. The fake must have been...
I see!
Okay, just make it clear.
The person wearing the hint bag in that video wasn't Ibuki. It was the killer pretending to be Ibuki. The killer put on a hospital gown, wore a hint bag on their head, and was only pretending to be the victim.
By that time, the real Ibuki must have already been killed.
The actual time of death must have been earlier. Probably around midnight or dawn to avoid witnesses.
If they took Ibuki from the music venue to the hospital to kill her, there's no way it happened during the day.
So that's what happened. Then, no matter how quickly I ran, it was impossible for me to rescue Ibuki. At that moment, I was already in the killer's trap. And the one who set a trap for me.
But why did the killer go to the trouble of making a fake video just so Hajime could go to the crime scene?
You know, you think the crime was committed at that
The
moment?
reason the killer made a fake video. There's only one possibility I can think of. And if I examine that possibility thoroughly,
Can we just say the actual reason instead of just jacking out?
then naturally the killer's identity will reveal itself.
You fiend! Are you saying you already know who the killer is?
I've known since the beginning, I've just not been bothered to say. I thought I should already know. I should have already known who the killer is. It was Kaneda. No, it was.
You're the only one!
It's Daddy's baby.
You're the killer, aren't you?
What are you talking about?
You're the only one who was in the hospital other than me who could have done that.
Like I said, aren't you the killer who murdered Ibuki and Hyoko?
Killer? Huh? I'm the killer? What is this?
Hey, don't you think that's kinda impossible?
Are you very sure?
A chick like her as the killer? She couldn't even kill a fly. In fact, the fly would probably kill her first.
She's right! A clumsy slowpoke like me killing someone? That's completely out of the question!
I know, and if you did try and kill someone, it would give the world more spectacular.
But we're the only ones. Thanks to that video, we're the only ones who have the advantage of an alibi.
An alibi? Was that the killer's goal?
Now that you mention it, you guys brought that up earlier. Only Hajime and Mikan have an alibi.
It's just a coincidence!
But you're the only one who could have filmed that video in the hospital conference room. Is that also a coincidence?
This really is starting to get interesting. Shouldn't you get some rest already? You should have been exhausted from nursing without any sleep, right?
At that time, you said you were going to the on-call room, but you actually went to the conference room.
It's sad, your Mikan's voice and blood voice is like you do very frustrated.
That's when you put on a hospital gown that you prepared in advance, put the bag on your head, and began filming. By doing that, you made up a video that showed Ibuki trying to hang herself at the music video.
I'm getting bored.
Furthermore, I saw that video at the hospital lobby. If someone wants to go to the conference room from outside, they have to pass through the lobby.
So it's impossible that someone who wasn't already in the hospital went to the conference room to film.
Not only that, the others in the hospital, Akane and I, were both delirious from the despair disease.
So that must mean...
Please, wait a second. What are you saying? I'm the killer? That's impossible. There's no way I could kill someone.
It's not literally impossible. Can't you give a better defense than that?
Just shows she can't even do that.
Hey, you sure this chick is really the killer?
Yeah.
Wrong! It's totally wrong! It's not what you think!
Just like Akane said, it is really hard to tie it all together. I mean, Mikan is the killer?
I agree. It is truly difficult to believe someone could be killed by such a slow-witted woman.
That slow-witted remark is not necessary.
It's fine. I've been like this for a long time. In a tournament for social punching bags, I'd easily win first place with my soft reputation. Even I can't deny that. How many times do I have to tell you? It's impossible for me to kill someone. I'm serious. Very serious.
I want to believe you. I really do. I have evidence points towards you.
What do you say, Hajime?
Do you still believe this woman is the killer?
Do you hate me that much, Hajime?
It brings me pain to do this. But I don't hate Mikan. She is one of the few characters that are interesting enough.
Hey, Hajime!
Everyone's ganging up on me. Well played, Mikan. Tricks aside, logic aside, is he really capable of doing something like this? Could it be I'm the one making a mistake? No, in fact it'd be so much easier if I was wrong. If I have this much doubt about someone I spent so much time with.
Can you hold on a minute?
Hooray, Commander to the rescue!
Well, I know I'm being intrusive and all, and I mean, I have no place to say this. I missed all of the critical parts, and I doubt I have anything worth saying at an important time like this.
What are you saying?
But still, there's definitely no way I can overlook the killer this time. I thought it was suspicious all along, from the very beginning. Investigating with the suspect in mind creates a different result than investigating with no leads.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
Well, thanks to that, I was able to discover a truth that nobody else knows.
Hooray, Commander.
Are you serious?
I've been so focused on everybody else this trial, but I guess now's a good time to say it, right?
Commander, you may speak the truth.
You better not have kept quiet on purpose. This isn't a game, you know.
It is a game, though. It's a game of life and death, and it's so interesting.
Actually, this is a game.
Thank you, Monica, for backing up my point.
Please don't say such controversial statements.
Well, it is a game.
Well, what do you know, Nagito?
Well, it's nothing big, really. Only a small, decisive clue that points to the killer.
Dang, that's a huge deal!
A decisive clue. Does something like that really exist?
Yes.
Let's take a look, shall we? Regarding the rope Ibuki was dangling from, this rope was supplied by the supermarket, right? There weren't any ropes inside the music venue.
Again with the supermarket? That place is a hotspot for criminal goods.
I know, right?
If they got it at the supermarket, that means it was brand new, right?
What's wrong with that?
I want you to take a close look at this rope. And keep in mind that it's brand new. Near the middle of the rope, it's frayed, as if it was rubbed strongly. But why is it like this? The loop Ibuki used to hang herself is on one end of the rope, and the part of the rope that hung from the baton lighting is on the other end.
Hey, you're taking too long. What's wrong with the rope being frayed?
It means, well, from what I can infer, I think the rope was used like this. The killer wrapped the rope around Ibuki's neck, pulled both ends at full strength, and strangled her. The center of the rope is frayed because that's the part they used to strangle Ibuki.
Don, I've been listening to you for a while, and it sounds like you knew about this rope clue all along. What exactly did you say to me during the investigation?
So this rope won't be much of a clue. So I might as well search another frame.
Not everyone cooperates at a class trial. Those who lie and conceal the truth will obviously be here too. Just like this case's killer. I was just copying them a little bit.
Huh? More importantly, what was all that about the rope? The killer strangled Ibuki. And then?
And then, I finished speaking.
Stay hungry.
How is that a decisive clue?
Huh? You didn't notice it? I thought I made the decisive clue very clear.
Because words contain a decisive clue? Is that really true? Rope used for hanging, you know,
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know. Obviously, we'd assume it was a hanging.
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Whoever misunderstood is to blame.
If it's true cause of death with strangulation, the fact is that that's the decisive clue that will lead to the killer. Okay.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the still hanging and the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a... Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
That must be it!
I agree with you. That's right, Chief. Why are you saying so much interesting and correct stuff?
So that's what happened. We've been falling for the killer's lie this whole time.
There's something I want to ask you. There's no doubt Ibuki's cause of death was being hanged by this rope, right? Yes, she has. That's no doubt she died from hanging herself. I see. So Ibuki died from hanging herself.
You said Ibuki hanged herself, but that was a complete lie, wasn't it, Mikan?
That's it.
That is... well...
I completely forgot that part. If I did the investigation twice, probably I could get through 90% of it.
You told us the wrong cause of death. You lied, didn't you?
You should have been able to tell the difference between hanging and strangling just by looking. You, Mikan, the ultimate nurse.
Please wait! First of all, I'm not a coroner, so I don't have the medical knowledge to identify injuries like that. That's why it's not my fault if I made a mistake.
Can I please just get to the final, the final part of this?
You are right. And you have been a great help to us so far.
What time is it? Oh, right, 7%.
Drunk medical student can notice the difference between a hanging and strangulation.
I'm not taking her side or anything, but being clumsy and unskilled in this area could lead to a mistake.
He's totally
wasn't skilled in it, she wouldn't be cordial to them now.
Nikon nursed me till I got better. There's no way I'm gonna doubt her.
Don't you think her devotion to nursing is what helped her draw Ibuki to her death?
Huh?
And if not, her symptoms were still very serious and caused her to believe what anybody told her. It wouldn't surprise me if she willingly followed Mikon because she was nursing her.
So Mikon volunteered to nurse us? Because she was planning to do this all along?
That's a little... Aren't you like the thief who suspects everyone else of being thieves?
I'm not a criminal. Mikon is. I mean, she's a killer, you know.
You got it all wrong. Please forgive me.
I can tell you will become a better and better as this game goes on.
I'm sorry, but there's no way I can forgive you. I just can't forgive this crime at all.
Forgiveness or not, we still have not decided if Mikon is the killer.
Yeah.
I see. You guys are kind. Well, if that's the choice everyone makes, then the only thing I can do is back off, I guess. But is that really okay? Is that everyone's hope?
You're friggin' annoying! If you keep talking, I'm seriously gonna beat you up!
But I'm really not the killer. There's no way I'm capable of killing someone.
It's so great that I'm not emotionally attached to this character that much.
Is that really true?
I can see through your innocent act.
Stop it already! That's enough!
I can't stop. I don't want to do this either. Of course I don't want to do this. But I need to do this.
You doubt your friends?
That's not it. I suspect them because I want to believe them.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't think belief and doubt are necessarily opposites.
Huh?
I do doubt her, but I still want to believe her. Belief lies at the heart of that conflict. 'Cause if there's no room for doubt, then there's no reason to believe, is there?
Don't say deep stuff. I don't really get it.
If you want to believe in someone, you need to overcome doubt first. Belief without doubt is simply a lie.
Fine. Do whatever you want. I won't stop you anymore.
Huh? Is that all you can say?
The actors come down.
Ah, so in the end, you're all just a bunch of bullies, huh? Justifying your actions with fancy words. Making excuses for why it's not really your fault. Everyone always treats me like that. Always.
Look at her actor is coming down, but still trying to act in.
It's all her fault. She's the one with the problem. I'm done with that. You hear me? I'm done.
Hey, Mikon.
It's not fair. It's not fair. 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 Why won't you forgive me? If you did something wrong, you'd forgive yourself right away. What did I do? Why won't anybody forgive me?
Is acting like this your strategy now? Well, this is annoying.
It's interesting.
Plus, to be honest, I've run out of ideas. How can we get you to admit it? That's the issue.
If we don't have any clues, why don't we have her give us some? I'm the same as Hajime. I don't want to doubt any of my friends. But still, the truth is one of us murdered two of our friends. That's why we gotta stick with this until the very end, so we can finally break these chains of despair.
You are
Hey,
correct.
Nikon, can I ask you one last thing? If you're not the killer, then who fabricated that video Hajime watched?
Like I said, it obviously wasn't me.
Can you prove it?
Prove it? Wait! Do you have any proof that I'm the one who fabricated that video? That's right! Show me your proof!
She's acting like this with our houses, so that she could have feeling her flow. Let's prove what she's got anything else.
Because you're just assuming the video was filmed at the conference room.
I'm not assuming.
Treating me like a killer based on an assumption. Just because I was at the hospital. That's totally crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. Why does everybody always hate me? Please, just forgive me already.
Is this broad really okay? She's emotionally unstable.
I'm not the killer. I never filmed that video.
It seems she finally started arguing for us. But the only one who can find the hole in her argument is you, Hajime.
I kind of zoned out for a bit. I stopped listening to whatever Nikon was talking about.
So, I'm going to leave this to you once again.
Baby, what's the fucking goal all on? You're saying everyone's fate depends on you. You're only person who saw that.
Why did you get to decide I'm the killer? Where's your proof? Please, forgive me already!
I need to make it. I'm the one who has to do it. I'm the one who's going to.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof?
Yes, I do.
Is the hemp bag on her head the proof?
Nope.
Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
Ibuki and Mikon clearly have different body types.
Is that really your proof? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle? Just from that dim candlelight? There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type!
So please forgive me already!
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof? Is the hemp bag on her head the proof? Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof? Is the hemp bag on her head is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
Ibuki and Mikon clearly have...
Is that really your proof? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle? Just from that dim candlelight? There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type!
So please forgive me already!
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is a handbag on her head? Is a hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital slippers?
Ibuki and Mikan.
Is that really? You could tell her body type, and just from that camera angle.
Maybe that's a copy of the thing that Chappie said at the end.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on? Is a hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mikan.
Is that really? You could tell her body just from that dim candlelight. There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type. So please,
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
I get it.
I'm not the killer.
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
That's a lot, man. Okay. Well, until the morning announcement. Make a look at Hudson. She went to hospital to check out that on your ability to disappear. But she looked out to hospital treatment. Give her. She apparently met up with the bigger. The video that Hudson saw at the hospital shows the hospital. The person dressed in the hospital gown wearing a hemp bag on their blah blah blah. Alright, so we wouldn't have known about
Is the handbag on? Is the hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mikan.
Is that really? You could tell her body just from that dim. There's no way you'd be so pleased.
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
I'm not the killer.
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on? Is a hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mikan.
Is that really? You could tell her body type just from that camera angle, just from that dim candlelight.
she wouldn't have been able to see the candlelight.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof? Is the handbag on her head the proof? Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
Ibuki and Mikan clearly have different body types.
Is that really your proof? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that camera angle, just from that dim candlelight?
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Damn it!
Damn it. It's so very sad for me. If everyone votes for me, I'm going to just I'm going to get their vote.
We will never give up!
Okay, go. Okay, I cannot figure this out. Trying to think. I can't figure this out. I'll figure this out. YouTube, my old trend. So. Okay. So, I'm going to think. Sorry this annoys people, but I just can't figure this out. Oh, she wouldn't have done the camera.
Not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is a handbag on is the hospital gap, or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mika.
Is that really? You could tell her body just from that. There's no way you'd be so pleased for Hajime.
Pay close attention. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
Perfect save.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on is the hospital gap, or could it be the hospital slippers?
Ibuki and Mika.
Is that really? You could tell her body type and just from that video? Just from that camera angle?
I'll shoot through that contradiction.
There she goes. How would you know the camera angle? Definitely list of what
Mika,
not just YouTube.
You've committed a major mistake.
Mistake?
Thank you, YouTube.
As I said before many times, I'm the only one who saw that video.
What's wrong with that?
The camera angle. How would you know the camera angle?
But I never said anything about the camera angle. So how can you say anything about the camera angle as if you saw that video yourself?
The only reason Mikan knew the camera angle Hajime had seen is because you're the person who actually filmed that video. Is that right?
Just reward. The more desperately you argue, the deeper you dig yourself into a hole.
Listen, we might be able to help you out of that hole if you did the bigger.
You lied, didn't you?
Are you serious? Is it true, Mikan? Did you kill Hiyoko and Ibuki?
If you kill Hiyoko, then man, that's one way to get rid of the bully.
Forgive me! Huh?
Sounds like they just used the same audio clip a lot.
I was wrong. No, that's not it at all.
That's not it?
I mean, it's impossible.
Impossible?
You know that hemp bag Ibuki was wearing when she died? Try remembering the tote bag instead. Ding! I totally remember now.
What the heck's wrong with her? She's getting weirder by the minute.
She's turning to Nagito levels of weird, and we don't need two people. That's weirdness. We only need one of them.
That tote bag. Isn't it the same one that girl was wearing in the video?
How do you know so much about that video?
Who cares about that?
Did you know that?
More importantly, did you know that bag is a limited item that was sold at the movie theater? Hajime saw it too, didn't you? You remember the Usami decal on it, right? Oopsie! Don't worry about it. I remember even if you don't. Ta-da! There's no mistake that tote bag is a limited item.
There was two.
So don't you think it's impossible?
There was two.
Using one tote bag in both the conference room and the music venue at the same time? It's blatantly obvious that that's impossible. Don't you think? That's why that video isn't fabricated, and I'm not the killer. So you'll forgive me, right?
Taking your stubbornness this far. Such despair.
Then you're gonna forgive me? I won't stop until you forgive me!
Long time no see. Well, not really. It's time for the third panic talk action. This is probably going to be my last job during the class trial. Please humor me while I taint your ears one last time. Starting from this PTA, the reload and ammo features will be added. Great. You will no longer be able to do the best to do with just the X button. Below the tempo marker is still in the lower portion of the screen, the number of bullets. And this time you will need one bullet to destroy one remark. When you're out of bullets, you won't be able to destroy the remark no matter how many times you mash the X button. You will be able to refresh your bullets by pressing the square button to reload. Just like locking on, press the square button in time with the tempo marker. Oh, so I can't just spam it. That'd be cool. The control was the same as the X button. The square button, the number of buttons, the number of bullets refreshed is based on how well you keep the tempo. If you get the time wrong when you press the square button, bullets will not be refreshed for 3 seconds. Also, your ammo will be completely refreshed and will not run out through the time. If your difficulty level is at the general, you do not need to reload. I guess this was a pretty useful explanation, even though it was the last one. That should be all the explanations for the class 12. The rest is up to you to overcome. You should be able to find it beyond this point. Once you and I both get to the step. Well then, good luck and have fun. I'm never gonna
have it until you forgive me! That is a limited item! That's why that crime is impossible for anyone to pull off.
This chick, has she lost it for good?
Will you forgive me? You'll forgive me, right? Isn't that right? You're obviously gonna forgive me, right?
That's just right when we're not getting anywhere. What flip it? Oh man, I got 10 minutes. Let's finish it off. I gotta do something so I can make her admit it. Panic talk action. Oh good, this is a panic talk action.
You still haven't forgiven me? I'll do anything you want. Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Why only me? Please, draw on me. Can you forgive me already? Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. You're done for! Forgive me! Forgive me! Why only me? You still haven't forgiven me? I'll do anything you want. Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Why only me? Please, draw on me. Can you forgive me already? Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. You're done for! There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it in 2 places at the same time. Forgive me! Forgive me! Why only me? You still haven't forgiven me? I'll do anything you want. There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it in 2 places at the same time.
This is the end!
I wasn't sure why they was making the first time.
Monokuma mentioned this earlier.
When you buy one bag, you get another one free. It's a common practice to bait customers to bonus prizes.
Whoever bought that bag should have received another one as a bonus prize. which means it's not impossible to use that bag in 2 separate places. So please, just stop making desperate excuses.
Why? Why can't you forgive me? Why?
It seems her desperate struggle is finally coming to an end.
Why does everybody always hate me? You should just forgive me already!
Please, just let me
Miko,
finish this.
it's already over. After I go over your... show that you have no arguments left. Please, just admit it already. In the end, at least let me believe in you.
Come on. 7 minutes. No.
Here's everything that happened in this case. The key to this incident is the surveillance camera video that only I saw. That's why I'm going to start with that to unravel the knots of this crime. When I went to the hospital with Mikon this morning, I noticed a specific thing in the lobby. The incoming signal light on the surveillance monitor was blinking ahead of the scheduled time. When I switched on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a person wearing a hospital gown and a bag on their head about to hang themselves right at that moment. That surveillance camera unit was designed for two-way communication with the hospital and the music venue. That's why I thought the signal originated from the music venue, so I immediately headed over there. But that was the killer's trap. In truth, that video was recorded in a different place. The killer brought the music venue camera the night before and made their preparations in advance. And then, they filmed that video in the hospital conference room. By doing so, they tried to make me think the incident was happening in real time, when in fact, the crime had already been committed by that point. The person in the footage wearing the bag was actually the killer acting as a fake. I didn't know that, so I went to the music venue and found the hanged body wearing a bag on its head. Seeing the body before me, I panicked and rushed out of there to get the rest of you guys. But that was also part of the killer's trap. After cleaning the conference room, the killer was likely watching the music venue from outside. And, as if they were switching places with me, they went inside the music venue and began working on their last trick. First, the killer peeled off the wallpaper covering one of the stage pillars, revealing Hyoko's body. When I first arrived and saw the hanged body, I didn't notice anything strange about that pillar. I didn't expect it to be slightly larger from the wallpaper, or have Hyoko's body hidden inside. Next, the killer destroyed the surveillance camera that was used in the conference room. After destroying it, they mixed it with what was left of the surveillance monitor found at the crime scene. The surveillance camera the killer used was originally brought from the music venue, but when they brought it, they made sure to destroy its monitor beforehand. They wanted to hide the fact that the camera wasn't at the crime scene. In the end, the killer transformed... They broke one of the drumsticks from the storage room and placed it near the music venue's entrance. However, they did this to mislead us into believing that the music venue was locked from the inside. In actuality, The reason the music venue became a closed room was because of the glue. The killer sealed the door with glue and intentionally created a closed room that could be forced open. With that, the killer finished tampering with the crime scene and met up with Fuyuhiko. They helped us force open the music venue door, despite the fact that they personally sealed it. And they made us discover not just Ibuki's body, but Hyoko's suddenly present body as well. At the time, they pretended to be surprised, but inside, they were probably relieved that their plan worked out. Isn't that right, Mikan? This crime was orchestrated by you, wasn't it?
Whoa! Now she's laughing?
It's been such a long time. This feeling, I know it well. Like the floor is collapsing, like the sky is falling down upon you. This feeling of despair!
Mikan, what has happened to you?
Whoa there! Before that, a moment of your time.
Kuma, I don't have time to spare. Wait, don't. Quick, done.
It seems your arguments have reached a conclusion, so let's proceed to our regularly scheduled voting time. Now then, in front of you and cast your vote. Who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Let's go!
Great. Of course it did that. Of course my Kuma would do that of all things. Make like
Well now.
Now then, though it may be obvious at this point.
Correct!
You got it right once again, that's like 3 in a row. That's right, the true identity of the half-and blackened who killed 2 girls as Mikan Fumiki.
Damn it.
God, that's are you saying Mikan is the one who nursed the back to health is the one who killed her?
I won't forgive you.
Don't joke around with me, Mikan did you lie to us all along? Were you planning to kill them from the start while you were nursing them? I'll tell you, yeah. Don't just laugh, say something, just going nowhere. I don't care.
What's going on?
Hey!
This is nothing like Heko. She's actually gone mental.
That's
That's
obvious.
nothing we can do. She's no longer the same person. She's no longer the Mikan Fumiki we knew.
Hey,
Based on your prediction, she might have caught it too. That's how I caught the virus. Please. Okay, a second. She probably had the despair disease, which was the motive for this.
What?
Mikan too, you say?
I
know, because I was looking at Mikan for so long. She was the one taking care of me after all. My consciousness kept drifting, but even so, when I did catch a glimpse of her expression was full of despair, despair so devoted of hope that not even a single fragment of his faith remained. Hold on, did you say Mika also had the despair disease? Then that means she was insane, and that is very sad. I will after end this video over here. I'll probably continue it later. Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll continue it tomorrow. Later. See you on